mob of MAGA insurrectionists laid siege to our nation's capital. Insurrection.
January 6th, our temple of democracy was attacked by insurrectionists.
The mainstream media ran with the word insurrection, which gives the impression that we were having a violent revolution right here in the city of Washington, D.C., when in fact nobody was caught with firearms, no shots were fired, other than the shot that was fired against Ashley Babbitt.
An insurrection is an organized attempt to overthrow a government. Well, number one, it wasn't organized, and number two, they weren't trying to overthrow a government. I mean, they were mad about an election.
We didn't have tanks in the street. We didn't have people going through shooting people that were in Congress.
If it was really an insurrection, why has the Biden administration, to this day, not charged anyone with insurrection?
You have people get out of control, and you have people that need to be held accountable for those acts of violence that they did commit.
The FBI even determined that this was not coordinated, this was not planned, this was not an insurrection, this was an event that got out of hand. What BLM and Antifa did is actually much more akin to insurrection than anything that happened on January 6th. I mean, their stated mission, and Antifa wants to destroy the system. BLM, to a lesser extent, wants to dismantle the culture as we know it.
When you have Portland, Seattle, when you have, courthouses being firebombed, when you have over 1,000 law enforcement officers wounded, people killed, that's an insurrection.
President Trump's second impeachment, a total farce. We're going to impeach over speech.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
As if that meant go break doors to the Capitol. Of course not.
On January 6th, Capitol Police were put in a situation where they were going to fail no matter what. 10,000 National Guard troops is how many President Trump requested.
You don't have to know anything about policing to know that the security was totally inadequate.
And that was because Nancy Pelosi failed and she turned down the request for the National Guard to be there. There are reports that there were people that were out in that audience that encouraged, supported, tried to incite people.
We need to go into the Capitol! Into the Capitol!
I want to know what FBI agents were there. Were they there? Were they not there?
There's footage of people changing their clothes outside the Congress. I thought these were MAGA supporters coming from the president's rally. What is a Black Lives Matter self-confessed revolutionary doing filming Ashley Babbitt's homicide?
You got something for that? I saw her leaving out.
Why have 40,000 hours of CCTV footage from the Capitol still under lock and key? These are the questions we still don't have answers for.
The U.S. Capitol is under lockdown after a violent mob stormed the building.
We had this situation for months and months and months where Washington, D.C. looked like Checkpoint Charlie.
Military personnel, regular units, and National Guard units brought in from states all around the country to supposedly protect the Capitol. None of them were armed with any ammunition. Their weapons were all for show.
But it's all part of continuing the narrative, how dangerous the Republicans are, how dangerous it is in Washington because of these conservatives. It's all a political game to them, but it could come at the cost of our country.
Kim was arrested on March 10th. He was doing yard work. I went to the door. The FBI agent wanted to rifle at me. My husband's in handcuffs.
We're going to conduct a search warrant. We're going to talk to your husband. We can make it easy. You can just tell us what we're looking for.
They took my ham radios, that's my emergency radios, for hurricane season. And then they took my kids' toys. They didn't take the weapons. What kind of investigation is this?
I was awoken by flashbangs that were being deployed into my yard, and the FBI screaming and yelling at me from the front of my house. I immediately got up, ran to the front door, opened the door, and I had lots of guns aimed at me and red dots all over me. It was quite scary. Chris was not even home that day. He was on a camping trip. Once Chris got home, then he came inside, was able to hand me his wallets and keys. At that point, they handcuffed him.
The owner of a tattoo parlor in Orange County is now under arrest, accused of taking part in the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
I was getting in-person death threats in my business. One day I get a call and the shop is just trashed. We boarded up the windows at the shop, and within 5 minutes, the words FBI was the first thing I heard as 5 or 6 individuals came in the business. Full force FBI raid and dragged me off to the station.
I still try to tell myself every morning when I wake up it was a bad dream. You know, there's that moment of coming to consciousness. Like you wake up and you come into yourself where you have to make yourself aware of it every day.
I mean, my world is turned revelation. To have somebody that you're with all the time, to kiss her goodbye on the 5th, and to never see her after that, gone, wiped away from your life. I don't know. I haven't come to terms with it. I can't. If I do, I'm done.
It's been life-altering. Unbearable, really. Try to remember the good times. Try to remember Ashley's spirit. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what our whole family's trying to do. Just get through this, and hopefully someday it won't be so painful.